upset, and rightly so, because it wasn't great. The wives were at home looking after the children without any income. It was wartime Paris. Hitler was in Paris. I mean, it was a terrible time. And to deny how terrible it was irresponsible. But to create a university out of nothing, that's something. And here we are talking about it 75 years later. So possibilities, always creating something new, saying something that will create a new way of looking at it. One of the big things in my life, one of the transformational moments, was when I realized, and you think, how was it possible? It was for the first time, but it was for the first time that I saw it really. The conductor doesn't make a sound. And if the conductor doesn't make a sound, what's he doing? He or she. He is finding the power in other people and releasing it. So it's about how well he releases the power in others, not about how he delivers his own. It was a revelation, because I suddenly realized my attention is exclusively
Where were you
on
when you had that discovery?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
How did you have it?
I don't know. I was in a mode of questioning.
Okay.
I'd just gone through my second separation. My first marriage was very friendly, but nevertheless divorce. And my second marriage had just ended in separation. And like Lady Bracknell in Importance of Being Earnest, is to lose one parent is unfortunate. To lose two looks like, what does she say? To lose two parents looks like irresponsibility. No, it isn't. It's something else. It looks like, oh, that's right. To lose one parent is unfortunate, but to lose two looks like carelessness. So I think that I ask myself the question, there are a lot of things going wrong in my life. How come I'm always present? So it's not over there, it's here. And so I started asking questions, and I had a terrific coach, the wife who had decided to end our relation, or at least to end our marriage. She's so clever. She said, when you're related to somebody, you're related for the rest of your life. So let's make it the best relationship we know how. Now, very few people go into a separation or a divorce with that idea that you're related for the rest of your life. You can't avoid that. We didn't have children in common, but we both had children, and so in that sense they were connected, and we were connected, and we remained deep friends and supporters of each other, and she married again, beautiful, wonderful marriage with a very wonderful man, very interesting person. It's another whole story. But we remained in a wonderful relation. Now that's a transformational idea. It's not positive thinking. It's creating a new possibility, which is the relationship.
It's actually negative things that can create that. So the body of work, what I mentioned to you, is happiness works. The science of positive psychology works, but it takes ongoing work, just like practicing, just like possibilities.
Yeah.
So, and I mentioned to you when I had the depression, so my former husband, he was concerned about me during that time, and we ended up having Christmas together with our son, and that was the first time we ever had Christmas together, but he was concerned. And so now the last 2 years, we've had Christmas and Thanksgiving, our families together.
Very nice.
And so it's very nice for our son and for us, actually. Yeah. So I can relate and understand what you're saying.
Well, we went on, we wrote the book after we were separate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that's a huge
and all the work we did was after the separation. Because it was only when the separation happened that I woke up.
Okay.
Because I'd been so focused on my music and on making things happen in the music world and conducting and so on. I just couldn't focus on anything. And so the price I paid for that was the marriage, but I didn't pay the price of the relationship. So the relationship continued in a different way, and a very troubling.
Interesting.
So the thing about possibilities is you're always looking for a path. And Roz's second book, which I should show you, is called Pathways to Possibility. And that is a wonderful phrase, just like the art of possibility. It's pathways that there's always a path somewhere to take you to the next stage. So it's just being open, being aware, being vigilant, watching the language, making sure you don't fall into the bad habit of blame and false and threat. All the things we do as leaders. We blame people a lot for the things that cause failure. It's not a useful way of going about things. So this is a design as a if you like, a strategy or a game to play to create shining eyes. And the shining eyes are a reflection of an energized soul. The soul is alive, expressive, eager, excited, aware, available, all of that. That's the state of mind that we want human beings to be in. And that's what I want the players in the orchestra.
Yeah, so often business leaders think of the conductor as a metaphor, as a CEO, as a leader for a company. And I know through reading about you that you do talks on different things and you're asked to go into companies. I'm very curious what challenges or problems companies have that they call you in to help them with, and then what types of things, topics do they gain the most from you in learning, and what types of things do they like to learn from you the most?
First of all, they get a lot wrong because they think of the conductor.
Right, so they have misconceptions.
Right. They don't know. The conductor, I say this jokingly, the conductor of an orchestra is the last bastion of totalitarianism left in the civilized world, because the conductor has complete control over all the lives of the people in the orchestra, and it can be very seriously misused, that power, and has been much less now, but it used to be outrageous what conductors would do, and they thought of themselves as having superhuman powers and dominating the players through fear and through rectitude, being right, and they were all men, so there was a masculine hierarchical style of leadership embodied in the great maestros like Toscanini and Tchaikovsky and all these people who everybody looked up to. The poor players were intimidated. There are famous stories of mismanagement of that hierarchical power. What I've done, and when I say done, I'm still in the process of doing it, is to reduce the hierarchical role of the conductor so that it's eye level with the players. And I have a lot of strategies to do that. One of them is the famous white sheet.
White sheets, yes.
And
yes,
I've written up, I just came across a very nice version of the white sheet. Well, how does it work? It's on the stand of the players. They have to sign it, so they have to identify who they are.
It can't be anonymous. Okay.
Right. And that might look as though I don't want to hear their criticism. Far from it. In the possibility model,
Acknowledge them.
the criticism is coaching. And so it's not only the acknowledgement, it's just that if they suggest something, and they can say anything they want about conducting, the music, the tempo, the state of affairs, the stamp on it, anything they want. And if they sign it, then I know that I can go on with the conversation with them in private, call them up, whatever it is. If it's anonymous, I don't know.
Right.
And that has been a very powerful tool for players, because they know that they always have my ear, and therefore I'm unlikely to fall into the trap. I secretly call it asshole protection, because if I say something which is in some way demeaning or sarcastic or in some way puts down the players, I know that I'll hear from somebody. So I've trained myself not to use certain words. I don't use the word should. I don't say you should or you ought, you must. I don't use those words because they immediately put me on a high plane. I would use those words if there was a dangerous situation, like a child crossing a dangerous road that might get run over. Then must and should is fine. But if you're saying that you want to encourage people to play with greater power, intensity, or practice, or whatever it is, there's always a way of saying that in such a way that you invite them and encourage them and enroll them in playing the way you would like to see them playing. And so if you listen to the tapes of my recordings, of my rehearsals, and I record every rehearsal, you'll never hear me putting anybody down, virtually never even talk about mistakes.
Is that a change?
Yeah,
if you look at
huge
Ben
change.
Zander from 2 or 3 decades ago?
Huge.
Okay, so
Huge
the
change.
current Ben Zander could go and tell the decades ago Ben Zander a lot of things to do differently.
Oh, yeah. Because I was brought up in the hierarchical model.
Yes.
Not negative or not unpleasant. My father was a wonderful man and he was very much admired. But there's no doubt that he came from that world, the hierarchical male world. He would hand my mother £3 to do the shopping at the beginning of the week. There was no question about it. It was a male-dominated system. But what came out of this whole way of thinking is that people do best when they are treated with respect, where love is present, where energy and enthusiasm reign, not where people are made wrong.
Is that something that corporate audiences
They love it.
They love it, okay. Okay, so that's what you are able to share with them.
I've never had any resistance. Never. It's amazing. They love it because I have a huge secret weapon, which is I have music. And so I play, I get them to sing, I get them to feel the energy and joy of singing, for instance, Happy Birthday, which they all know. But they've never thought about what they're thinking, what they're actually singing about. Or, happy birthday to